Our guest this afternoon is Mrs. Lou Wright, the candidate of the Women's Club of the Simi Valley for the title of Honorary Mayor of the Simi Valley. Mrs. Wright, so nice of you to be with us today. Now tell us, why the campaign?
Well, the campaign is that the Simi Valley has grown so rapidly in the last 10 years that we haven't an adequate place for us to have our gatherings at all. We need a great, large community center where all our young people can meet, where we can bring cultural things into our valley, where we can have a large swimming pool. And the Chamber of Commerce thought it would be a fine idea if all the organizations of the valley would get together and back of this project and sponsor it and see how much money we can raise and to get started.
Get the things going.
For
those who aren't aware of where the Simi Valley is, it's the north. You go to the northwestern corner of the San Fernando Valley, near Chatsworth, then you just go over the hill, and then you're in the Simi Valley.
That's right.
Not too big.
No.
And it's not Fillmore or Santa Paula. It's before you get up that way.
Well, Fillmore and Santa Paula are on the mountains. They're just across the way.
I see.
On the other side.
How long have you lived there?
I went to the valley in 1908. My father bought there in 1907, but my mother went to Ventura County in 1868. So I'm just a product. My father there in 78.
I was going to ask you what the population was around 1908.
In Simi Valley?
Yeah.
I don't think over 500.
What is it now?
Well, the last count was over about 25,000. And we've done that practically in the last 10 years.
It's so rich in history. I want to show these pictures. And if you will, maybe the folks can look at the pictures and you would tell us what we're looking at.
Now, this is a hotel that was built in Simi Valley. They called it the Simi Hotel. It was because the Simi Land and Water Company had decided that they would subdivide Simi Valley. They wanted to sell it. They
when was this built?
This was built in 1888. 87, no, and it was taken and destroyed, and right at the present time we're building a new high school on this ground. It's on a knoll.
Here's a good picture. There we go.
Well, that is a school in Simi in 1897, and the teacher at that time was our present Judge Blackstock. He doesn't. You can't pick it up. He's in Ventura, and a very noted judge. He was the judge in
the Duncan trial.
Oh yes.
Yes, I remember.
Yes, he was a very fine judge.
Here's another picture.
And this is on the Gillibrand Ranch, where it was a cattle ranch. There were the early settlers in our valley. They coming there in the 80s, and they have a large lime mine on this ranch, and cattle the second. Now this is the way we traveled in the valley with our horse and buggy days. And this was a young man going out to take his girl, had his carriage all polished up just like they do their cars today, and their horse and
now we have some other pictures. Don't go away, Marsh. These are pictures.
These pictures are of Pisgah Grande. It's up in what we call the Law House Canyon, and they had quite a summer. Dr. Yoakum decided that he wanted to help people that were down and out and didn't have anything, and so he went up there, and if they would come, and he took families as well as those that didn't have anything. Now this is a watchtower, and for 24 hours around the clock they prayed there. And those buildings are standing now, Mr.
Who prayed
Lawrence. They had people praying, right? Turn around. It was a religious organization.
Oh, what was the name of the organization?
Pisgah Grande. Pisgah Grande.
What was the sect, the religious sect?
They didn't have any. They just called it. And now this was their community house. This is a building where they all gathered to have their meals. And
how far is this from the
city of Simi? It's about 6 miles, right back up in a little canyon, right on back up in the canyon.
And these ruins are still there?
These ruins are still here. This is a building. This is a post office, I think. They had a post office, they had a school, then they had some family homes. That was a family home there where a family could come. And they had to deed over all their property to him when they came here. And then when he died, why, they had to leave.
Well, certainly it is an area so rich in history that we're just glossing over it, unfortunately.
I'm very sorry that I don't have good pictures, but Mrs. Cameron is writing a book of our valley called Simi Grows Up. And she has my good pictures and her pictures of the early days, and they're with the printers. So
Mrs.
we
Wright.
haven't been.
I want to thank you very much for being
Well,
with
I'm
us this
very happy to
afternoon.
be here.
And may I wish you success in your campaign.
Well, thank you. And anybody want to send dimes, send them to the Chamber of Commerce, to almost any organization. There are 10 of us running. But of course, I prefer the Women's Club, but there's Lions and Legions and Rotarians and all that
That's good.
stuff.
Thank you so much,
You're
Mrs.
entirely
Wright. We'll be
welcome.
right back in just a moment following these words.